What is going on, YouTube? What is going on, Kansas City? And what is going on, everybody? And welcome to the Beat of KC. We're actually going live to be talking about the state of the Kansas City Royals. Obviously, I usually do a live stream with Michael Darcy over at the KC Sports Report, but I felt like I needed to come on and do this week. I definitely wanted to cover the state of the Kansas City Royals. Last week we definitely talked about the fact that there's complacency. It almost seems like it's almost like they're stuck in a rut, and almost like it's just a struggling time for sure. And you can sense the frustration from the fan base. It's absolutely incredible. And I just honestly can't believe that is actually going on. I can completely understand why people are frustrated with this ball club, with this, coaching staff, specifically the pitching coach and the hitting coach. I just completely understand what is going on. So we're going to dive in. We're going to be talking a little bit of Kansas City Royals. We're going to go over the schedule at which we last saw, and we're definitely going to, cover that in full detail. So let's dive into that right now. Here we go. So as you guys can see, it was a rough stretch. And I'm going to go ahead and go back to even prior to when I've done a live with Michael. And, this stretch from the very beginning of the month of June, ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at, we come off a series win with the Pirates. We dive into the Twins and we split that series. I did the live stream with Michael and I said that this West Coast trip was going to be rough. It really was. I mean, you have a very veteran ball club there in Los Angeles with the Angels. They're driven by Joe Madden. You have Shohei Ohtani. Mike Trout was luckily on the IR, but it didn't seem to matter at that point. So Mike Trout on the IR. You still have Anthony Rendon. You still have Jared Walsh. You have just a slew of different players that were able to have a tremendous impact in this series with the Angels, that we basically took a fat L in every single one of those games, and they were a whooping, ladies and gentlemen. Jackson Kowar did make his debut, and it was not a very good one, unfortunately. But I personally feel Jackson will recover. I do honestly personally feel that Jackson will most definitely rebound from this. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what Jackson can provide. Then we bleed into the Oakland Athletics. And honestly, that first win, it was gratifying because it was nice to come out with a win, especially against a very, very good ball club in the Oakland Athletics. But then we take 3 straight losses. Unfortunately, that's just the way it goes. And that was definitely a tough series going into a West Coast trip. I mean, it really is. I think the one that is most frustrating and really leads into this live stream is the fact that we come home and we get swept by the Detroit Tigers. I really think that is frustrating. What's going on, Connor? Appreciate you swinging by, checking out the live stream. I know it's kind of late. I know it's kind of last minute, but I definitely needed to address this for sure this week. So the Detroit Tigers sweep us at home. That is very frustrating. That is, it seems like Detroit has our number, and, they do face us quite a bit because they're in our division, but it's just a very frustrating situation. Casey Mize comes out and deals against us. They have a very good up and coming pitching staff. I mean, you could have gone down the list and saw, everybody that was on that rotation to who's coming out of the pen. I mean, I hope Alex Lang is okay. He's a local guy from where I'm at. He was a stud at LSU. So I hope, I haven't dove in and found out if he needed Tommy John or really what the situation was. But, I wish him personal success just because of where he's from. They also have another local product, too, that was traded to them by the Braves. So, the Detroit Tigers have definitely have a deep and very depth-filled pitching staff for sure, and they're very young. But then we go into the Boston Red Sox. The Boston Red Sox currently are in first place in the AL East. We go ahead and we take that first game on Friday, and we go ahead and lose 1-7 on Saturday, unfortunately. But then you turn around, and on the 20th, which is the Sunday, which is yesterday, we come out with a dub, ladies and gentlemen. We come out with a dub, and we win a series against a very good first place Boston Red Sox team. Now, we obviously have the off day today, which is convenient, nice to kind of talk about the Kansas City Royals, the current state. But as you guys can see, we start a very, I would say a very good road trip to the New York Yankees, but our first game up is Garrett Cole. So that's going to be a tough one. Brady Singer is going to be on the bump. Definitely going to be a tough series there in New York. Small ballpark, obviously, and always a very good New York Yankees squad. Then we go into the Texas Rangers, and then we go into Boston again. So, honestly, it seems like we play to the level of our competition with the Texas Rangers. We could play down to their level, and then it seems like we amp up our level of play when we play some more good teams. So maybe we come out and we do well against the Yankees. Maybe we come out and have a good stretch against, the Red Sox as well. Connor, my grandma taught Alex Lang in high school. That's freaking awesome, man. I definitely tracked him through high school. I was coaching at the time. I was at Piper, and that's absolutely crazy. And then my old baseball coach, Coach Joey Wentz, too. Yeah, that's Joey Wentz. Obviously, is the one I was talking about. He got traded from the Braves to the Tigers as well, and he's in that organization. Joey Wentz is a freaking stud. Absolute stud. I'm excited to see Joey finally come up to the major leagues. That'll be tremendous. Hopefully they do it in Kansas City so a lot of his family and friends and, other people can go check that game out. I would definitely have to be in attendance for that game just because, those are the people you get to see when they go through high school and stuff. I think that's awesome. So we're going to dive into some stats. This is something that I think, is significant to see. It all depends on how much stats you want to break down, what you really are looking at. And, I want to break down, I'm not a huge analytics guy. I don't dive into the analytics a whole lot. But I do look at some of the statistics that we're used to from a regular basis. And I got to go all the way down here to 24 to find the Kansas City Royals. So let me get these stats correct, pull it up correctly for you guys. But yeah, let's go ahead and get this organized out. Here we go. So I like to break it down to where it's the last 7 days. And the reason is because at least we get a week's worth of, we get to see a week's worth of players, what they've accomplished in that 7 days. So in this case, we're looking at home runs. I'm not overly concerned about home runs. Let's go ahead and we'll check out the slugging percentage. So really this minimizes a lot. This really narrows down. I think you have to do a certain amount to qualify. As you guys can see, Salvador Perez is at the top, most definitely. I mean, the reason is because he's number 3 in all of All-Star voting. Salvador Perez is our workhorse. He is our beast. I mean, rightfully so. And then immediately following him is Whit Merrifield, who has come on fire, ladies and gentlemen, as of late. Just tremendous play from Whit Merrifield. And that's what you want to see from those two guys. I mean, those two guys are going to be Kansas City Royals for life, hopefully. And it's just a significant, piece right there. At least you get some positivity from some Royals players. So as you guys can see, we're looking at about 5 games, 21 at-bats for Salvador Perez, 4 runs, 8 hits, 1 double. You're looking at 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, 5 strikeouts, and then 0 stolen bases, hitting .381 in the stretch. 409 on base percentage, slugging was .714 with an OPS of 1.123. Absolutely phenomenal. You could get more from Salvador Perez, but you're talking about a tremendous stretch of 5 games right there. .381, and then you're talking about a slugging percentage of .714, OPS of 1.123. That's what Salvi does. And then to go along with 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, I'll take it, most definitely. But Whit Merrifield, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Whit that we're used to. 5 games, 22 at-bats, 4 runs, 9 hits, 3 doubles, a home run, 4 RBIs, a walk, 5 strikeouts, 3 stolen bases. He had 3 stolen bases in one game. In one game. So hitting 409, OBS is 435. 682 was the slugging percentage and an OPS of 1.117. Absolutely phenomenal from Whit Merrifield. You can't ask for more from Whit. I mean, again, I guess you could, but those are the numbers we expect and want to see from Whit Merrifield. Carlos Santana also having a stretch, ladies and gentlemen. 5 games, 20 at-bats, 3 runs, 6 hits. Hasn't hit any home runs in that stretch, but 3 RBIs, 2 walks, old consistent, getting on base when it comes to getting walks. I like to see the strikeouts not being as significant. 300 average. You're looking at OBP on base percentage of 364. Slugging, is a little bit down, 300. OPS is 664, but I still think a good stretch of 5 games right there. I like what, we're starting to see Carlos Santana to be a little bit more consistent. And I've always liked Carlos Santana. He was a lifetime, it seemed like a lifetime Indian. They go to the Phillies, went back to the Indians, and now he's with the Royals. I'm a huge Carlos Santana fan because I think he plays the game right. I think he does it right. He plays the position I played in, first base. So really a big fan of Carlos Santana. Now we're kind of getting into cold. Obviously, those are my 3 hot. We're now looking at some players that are cold. Hunter Dozier, obviously, ladies and gentlemen, he needs to figure it out. It's unfortunate, the situation he's going through. It's just how baseball works sometimes. Sometimes you just have that. I mean, he was on fire in last year, the year before. Just we saw the true Hunter Dozier. He gets a salary or a contract extension, and we're just not seeing that, ladies and gentlemen. We're not seeing that. Michael Taylor, going into the season when I found out we got Michael Taylor, I expected 250, 260. I mean, we knew what he was. He was a 4th outfielder, there in Washington, and he is our everyday starting center fielder now. I thought 250, 260. We're seeing a little bit less, I think, as you guys can see in that stretch right there. Jorge Soler, I don't need to say anything else about Jorge Soler, ladies and gentlemen. I think if I even just mention that name to a lot of Kansas City Royals fans, the frustration, the inner just fire just gets lit. It's a very frustrating situation because I do have to say, though, we knew what we were getting when we did the Jorge Soler trade. We knew that there was a chance he was just going to swing as hard as he could and attempt to hit it over the fence every single time. I truly think that that's his intention, and I think every fan that watches the game can see that. He does have his moments where he does hit laser beams to the gaps and can run out doubles and stuff like that, but there is no opposite field, it seems like, and he tries to pull everything. I don't know if that's what the hitting coach is teaching him, and if that's the case, then Terry Bradshaw needs to go as well. Kelvin Gutierrez, I was very high on Kelvin Gutierrez. I think he definitely has some potential to really be special. And by no means am I saying, ladies and gentlemen, that these players should be hitting 400, 500 the entire season. We just know that the sport of baseball is extremely, extremely difficult. We understand that people go into the Hall of Fame and they're hitting 300. That means you're failing a ton. I mean, you're not getting on. Your average is low. I mean, that's just how baseball is. And, he's going through that stretch right now. Kelvin Gutierrez, hitting 0.59, really not having anything going on. It's just the way it goes sometimes. But a very, I wanted to definitely provide you guys the stats from that aspect. Now we're going to go ahead and look at, I'm going to break this back down to 7 days. This is going to be our pitching staff. So as you guys can see, Kris Bubic, obviously 1-0, 6.75 ERA. That is a 1 game. He did not start. He came in actually in relief of, I do believe, it was Kyle Zimmer. I thought he did pretty well. 2.2 innings pitched. He did give up 2 runs, but I think it's nice to at least see him settle back in and kind of get back to what we were seeing early on in his starting ability. One that has impressed me a ton is Mike Minor. Mike Minor, obviously, since May 15th, I believe I tweeted out today, Mike Minor has been on a roll, ladies and gentlemen. A potential trade candidate at the trade deadline, I think. He's a lefty, 12.1 innings. I wish this thing showed quality starts because I think that's a significant piece to look at. He's been a workhorse. He's been a workhorse. He's been eating innings, ladies and gentlemen, and that's something that we've definitely lacked in this starting rotation. Scott Barlow, guys, they're not going to be lights out every single time. That's just not going to happen. I mean, we can expect that, but they are going to give up a run here or there, or, they're going to have a night. Scott Barlow gave up one run, an earned run, but guy is killing it. Guy is absolutely killing it. And we know what Scott Barlow we're expecting him to do. Jake Brentz, same thing. Carlos Hernandez, I'm excited to see Carlos Hernandez. It does seem like he gives up a run every time he goes onto the mound. But I think once he really gets settled in and we give him a role, because, he's been bullpen. He started a game very early on into the season. Once he kind of establishes a role, I think we can expect some good things from Carlos Hernandez. The guy throws absolute flames. I mean, I'm pretty sure fire and smoke comes out of his arm. So, it's a very exciting young up-and-coming player that, I think will be with the organization for a little bit. Greg Holland, I'm not going to say anything about Greg Holland. I mean, oh, my goodness. Brad Keller. Brad Keller obviously struggled. Going into the season, we expected him to be our ace, and he has been far from that. Jackson Kowar, had a very rough outing on his West Coast trip. Started against the Angels, went 0.1 innings. Started against the Athletics, 0.1 innings. But, had a couple innings there in relief. Looks like 3 innings. Gave up 2 runs, 2 earned runs. I'm okay with that. A very young kid, learning the game. This is his first time up in the major leagues. He'll get it figured out. He will get it figured out. Ervin Santana, honestly, has had his moments for sure. I think Ervin Santana definitely has earned at least some respect because he's kind of been that fireman in some situations. He picked up for Kowar there in Los Angeles and actually did okay. I think he gave up maybe a home run, but really kind of put out the fire for the most part. And if our offense did anything, I think probably we could have potentially got back into that ball game and won. I think, you have to give some respect to Ervin Santana for what he's done. Brady Singer, obviously, one of my favorite pitchers in this organization. I pitched, and it's his attitude, it's his mentality. When that guy takes the bump, he is a bulldog, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to give you an attitude. He's going to get in there. He's going to pitch, and he's not afraid of anybody, and I think that's what's significant. Stalmon obviously had a little bit of a rough up, but we know what we can expect from Stalmon. I mean, you almost have to put the ball in slow-mo in order to see it on TV. I mean, it is a special, special time when Josh takes the bump for sure. But like I said, guys, they're going to give up runs at times. It's just how baseball is. Swarzak getting the call-up from the minor leagues. Obviously Ronald Bolaños had to go on the 60-day IR. Unfortunately, that is one that I am just drooling over to see be a consistent role in the bullpen or even a starter. Hopefully at one point he can just get a start or something, but I'm a big fan of Bolaños. It's just unfortunate he's on the 60-day, but that gives an opportunity to a very good veteran in Anthony Swarzak. He did have a rough start early on in the year, and obviously DFA'd, I believe, and now he's with the Kansas City Royals. But, I think given the right opportunity, he is in a very good big ballpark in Kauffman. We'll have to see what he does, and he probably could, do some things for sure. Kyle Zimmer has been a very good staple in this bullpen, ladies and gentlemen. I can't speak highly enough about Kyle Zimmer and what he's been able to do. I think I saw a tweet today that said he's pitched in every single inning except for like the second, or the third or something like that, and maybe another inning, but everything else has been Kyle Zimmer has touched. So that's absolutely incredible. So as you guys can see, this really has been the stretch for what we've looked at from what's going on with the Kansas City Royals. Now, I titled this The State of the Kansas City Royals. And as you guys can see, someone was missing from the hitting stats. and that is definitely Raul Mondesi, or as people know him as Raul Mondesi Jr., or as Adalberto Mondesi. A very unfortunate situation, a very tough situation from the organization. Mondesi has been hurt a ton. He's been on the IR 3 times this year. It is absolutely insane to see the rate and the things that are happening with this player that they've invested so much into, it seems like. It's a very tough situation for the organization because you have a player named Bobby Witt Jr. down in AA who is absolutely raking. The guy is literally on fire when it comes to hitting the baseball. It's just incredible to see the confidence, the ability to step in the plate and do what he's doing, but also it translate over into the field. It's someone who is just having fun playing the game. Just turned 21, I believe. Absolutely incredible. He's doing it with some tremendous players in AA. Nick Prado's down there, MJ Melendez. I mean, the list goes on and on. Our AA is looking phenomenal from not only a hitting perspective, but also a pitching perspective. And there's tons and tons of players that I'm extremely excited to see up in this organization, the Kansas City Royals, hopefully in September, if not next year. I mean, you still got Asa Lacy, who is still down there, not in AA, but below that. You have a ton of young studs that are coming up. Alec Marsh. There's a ton of pitchers. Heasley. The list literally it goes on and on. So they really have invested into a lot of good quality players that we're seeing perform well in the minors. The big question mark always is, do they come up and it translate into the MLB? I was listening to the radio as I was coming home today from work, and they had Keith Law on from ESPN, I believe is who he writes for. And he was talking about how big of a difference it truly is from the minor leagues to the major leagues, specifically even AAA to the major leagues. Hitters are very good at what they do. They know where the zone is. They know how to take pitches where in the AAA they're probably swinging at those. It's just a very big step, and it takes some players some time to learn that and hone in the craft and be able to hit spots and do things like that. So I'm super excited for the future of this organization. I think that they do have a very bright future. It's just always the question mark is are the pitching going to be able to develop, and are they going to be solid enough to win ball games? And that's the question for any organization, honestly. But then you have Raul, how would I say Raul, because that was his name first, Adalberto Mondesi. The question is he going to stay within the organization, first of all? Is he going to be able to stay healthy? Is he going to stay at shortstop? Is he going to stay in, move to center field, second base? That's a big question mark. I wouldn't move Bobby Witt. I would keep Bobby Witt Jr. playing shortstop. And I think it's time to make Mondesi understand, your time is very limited here based on you can't stay healthy. Your contributions on the field have been minimal. And, but we've seen the MVP type talent. It's just very frustrating, and I'm sure it's very frustrating for the organization. But yeah, there's definitely a state of kind of where the Royals are at. From a pitching standpoint, we do have a young, decent rotation that is in the process of developing. We've got to see a few of them: Jackson Kowar, Brady Singer, Daniel Lynch. You still have a few more that are coming. Danny Duffy could be coming back from the IR, hopefully at full strength, and we get to see Danny back at what he was doing for the whole year. It's going to be interesting. I'm excited to talk to Michael next Monday because we're going to start that stretch that I talked to him about multiple times on these streams, and that is going into the All-Star break. Where do the Kansas City Royals sit? From a standing standpoint, let's go ahead and go to the standings real quick, and then we'll be wrapping this live stream up. But from a standing standpoint, you're looking – Kansas City is currently 9.5 games back out of the wild card, and we're currently 10 games back out of the division. That is a very tough situation with the White Sox playing as good as they are. Obviously they're on a losing game of 4 games, but they are also 43-29, and you just don't do that by playing terrible. The Cleveland Indians, on the other hand, are 40-30. They're on a 2-game win streak. They went 7-3 in the last 10, where you can see the White Sox went 5-5. And then the Kansas City Royals have gone 3-7, ladies and gentlemen. And I think that right there speaks to how we've been playing. That's how it's very unfortunate. And I think a big thing you're seeing is runs scored to runs allowed. And this whole time I haven't shared the screen, so let's go ahead and share the screen. I am completely sorry about that. So as you guys can see, the runs scored to the runs allowed, 296 to 336. That is a negative 40 run differential. I think that's extremely, extremely frustrating. And really, we are 1 game below 500 at home, and we are 5 games below 500 on the road. So yeah, it's just a very tough time to be a Kansas City Royals fan, and I completely understand it. I'm a diehard. I will always be a Kansas City Royals fan. I've been through numerous 100-loss seasons. The draft is getting ready to come up. That's going to be an exciting time. I will definitely be covering the draft. We pick at number 7, and there's a lot of potential there. I think that Kumar Rocker could fall, and I keep hearing that name. And if that happens, ladies and gentlemen, the next day we'll be buying a jersey. I'm a very big Kumar Rocker fan. But there's also a few others. I think if I had to pick, and I put out a video on this, if I had to pick, no question, I'm going Kumar Rocker. But I really like Henry Davis, the Louisville catcher. There's a few others that I really like as well. So super, super excited for the up and coming. It's just really kind of crazy to see what is going on in the current state. I mean, they made moves to compete. You don't go trade for an Andrew Benintendi. You don't sign a Carlos Santana if you don't feel you're going to compete. And I think, with still a decent amount of the season, and we're 9.5 games out of the wild card, I think that could be made up with this stretch that we are going to face here to wrap out the end of the month of June with Texas. But you do go to Boston. But then you really start a stretch there in the month of July where you could probably, if you do well, you could catch up some games and really kind of make a staple and maybe even a statement. But it's going to be tough, and we're going to have to see. And this team's going to have to flip the switch, or it's going to go south pretty quickly, and we're going to start to see some of these young guys. So I do appreciate you guys swinging by, checking out this live stream. I really do appreciate it. I love covering the Kansas City Royals. I love covering Kansas City Chiefs. I am a diehard Kansas City fan, so I really do appreciate everybody. The Beat of KC, ladies and gentlemen, has been started and is definitely going to continue. I can't thank all the interviewees that come on, or the interviewees that come on and do the interviews with me. It means so much to me, and I just really look for the growth of this channel and the potential of what this channel is going to provide. So I can't thank you guys enough for the support. Smash that like button. Smash that subscribe button. Comment down below so we can have some engagement. I can hear your guys' thoughts. And as always, appreciate you checking out the Beat of KC. Have a good day.